From the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now, the latest news.
Kylie Conway has the latest news. The top headlines. News you can use.
Please stand by.
Sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling. Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Friday, January 22nd. A much colder day to end the work week. We'll see sunshine through the day, mostly with clear skies and highs in the upper 20s to mid 30s. Tomorrow, slightly warmer, also plenty of sunshine. A wintry mix is possible for Sunday afternoon into the evening. President Joe Biden turns his focus to the economy. He is expected to push for economic relief for Americans struggling in the pandemic. That includes directing agency action on safety net programs like Medicaid and unemployment insurance. Also on the agenda, a call with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. It'll be the president's first discussion with a foreign leader. The White House says the two will talk about bilateral issues and the decision to revoke the permit to build the Keystone Pipeline. Biden's pick for defense secretary is expected to be confirmed by the Senate today. Congress approved a waiver for retired General Lloyd Austin yesterday. It allows Austin to sidestep a law that requires a 7-year gap between active service and becoming a defense secretary. He would be the first African American in the cabinet post. And Biden is unveiling a national strategy and signing executive orders aimed at fighting COVID-19. The president chose the pandemic as his focus for his first full day in office, signing at least 10 executive orders related to COVID. Those relate to mask wearing and vaccination distribution and come with a 198-page plan posted on the White House website. Biden says supply shortages need to be addressed by ramping up production of protective equipment and syringes. Dr. Anthony Fauci, now Biden's chief medical advisor, believes the United States can reach the president's goal of 100 million COVID-19 vaccines administered in 100 days, may even be able to surpass it. He says there needs to be an outreach effort to those with concerns about getting the virus and then logistically getting the shots out to as many people as possible.
Namely, getting community vaccine centers, getting the pharmacies fully involved, using mobile units to get into inaccessible places. When you put out all the plugs on that, you put the pedal to the floor, you can get it done. It's entirely feasible that if we really put a full court press on this, we can get that number of people vaccinated by the end of the summer.
If officials do hit that benchmark, it could mean a semblance of normalcy by the fall. At the current pace of vaccinations, that necessary threshold will not be reached until February of 2022. This all hinges on vaccine production. Johnson & Johnson's version is close to FDA emergency use authorization and does have advantages. It'll come in a single shot, and it won't need to stay in the cold climate that has made storing and transporting existing vaccines so difficult. Plus, Fauci says the AstraZeneca vaccine is not too far behind. And state health leaders are delaying eligibility for more groups to schedule the vaccine. This morning, it's unclear when the next group of people in Indiana can make an appointment. About 78 to 80,000 doses a week, a weekly supply which is held steady but not increased. Although Indiana still has about 286,000 doses of vaccine that haven't been given out. Right now, there's 270,000 scheduled appointments, and just about every appointment has been booked out for the next couple of weeks. State health leaders say their number one goal is to never have to cancel an appointment for someone because there's no vaccine on hand. Their priority has always been to protect the most vulnerable people in the state, and there are about 350,000 Hoosiers in their 70s and a similar number who are 65 to 69 years old. Officials say they also need to ensure there are second doses available 3 to 4 weeks after that first dose is administered.
The system we have in place is to ensure that we don't have to do what other states have done, cancel vaccine appointments due to no doses available. So while you may be frustrated at the availability of appointments, you can rest assured that our goal is to ensure that there will be a dose for you when you arrive.
Initially, state leaders said the next age category to receive the vaccine would be those in their 60s, but just yesterday tweaked it to 65 and up, in part to make sure those most at risk of complications and death could get the vaccine when it opens. And now a look at the impact the president's immigration plan could have on the economy. It would create a path to U.S. citizenship for almost 11 million immigrants. Kyle Anderson with the IU Kelley School of Business says when the country makes policy decisions like this, it creates smaller changes over time. He clarified that immigration tends to be good for the economy. It increases labor force, allows for economic growth, and he says the people that come to the U.S. do so because job openings are available. Anderson says there are two different paths that have an impact on the economy. economy. High-skilled workers like engineers and doctors fill necessary parts of the economy and tend to have an easier path to citizenship, while lower-skilled workers who fill valuable areas have a more difficult time with documentation. Anderson says baby boomers are starting to retire as well, and by increasing the workforce, that helps programs for every American.
Our population grows anyway, but it's growing pretty slowly. So expanding the labor force through immigration really helps, again, support retirees and helps those programs like Medicare and Social Security remain solvent for longer. Now, that alone isn't going to solve those problems. They still have funding shortfalls. And even with immigration, it's not some magic bullet that will make those problems go away, but it helps.
Another thing to think about is DACA, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. People who grew up in the U.S. but have an unclear status. Anderson says if they were able to get a clear path to citizenship, there's potential for them to be more productive in the economy. In total, the bill would need 60 votes to make it through the Senate. Vice President Kamala Harris is the tiebreaker. The administration would have to persuade at least 10 Republican senators to cross the aisle. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell is asking to delay former President Trump's impeachment trial to February. The move would give Trump time to prepare and review his case. McConnell released a statement Thursday evening. He suggests that the House transmit the article of impeachment next Thursday, January 28th. That would launch the first phase of the trial. The former president's defense team and House prosecutors would then have 2 weeks to file briefs. In this scenario, arguments would likely start in mid-February. House Democrats are pushing to move quickly to trial. A spokesperson said Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is reviewing the plan and will discuss it with McConnell. Ultimate power, though, over timing lies with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. She can trigger the trial by sending the charge to the Senate. Republican Senators Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley are facing an ethics complaint. 7 Democratic senators want the Senate Ethics Committee to open an investigation into Cruz and Hawley to see if their actions played a role in the U.S. Capitol riot or violated ethics rules. Cruz and Hawley say the complaint is political. The complaint comes as nearly 120 people are facing federal charges following the deadly insurrection. And more arrests could be coming since the FBI is actively searching for suspects. Senator Mike Braun is thanking the Indiana National Guard for its service. Braun tweeted some photos of the meeting yesterday with them in D.C., writing, "I'm grateful for their service protecting the Capitol and Washington, D.C. this week, and to them and their families for the sacrifices they've made for our nation." Indiana state leaders, health leaders promised some changes starting today that should end a difficult wait for grieving families. I-Team Aid has been pressing for answers about the slow rollout of a new death certificate system. As we have reported on Wish TV, a delayed certificate can force families to wait to hold a funeral or settle estate issues. State Health Commissioner Dr. Christina Box answered I-Team Aid's questions on Thursday.
And I know that is a very frustrating issue for families. I know we have heard their concerns over not being able to do certain things with the estate because they don't have a death certificate or birth certificates where people want those as they're filing their taxes. So we are in the process right now of developing in the next day a process by which we will be able to work with our local health departments and our funeral directors across the state and be able to get those out in a more timely fashion.
Box says she aims to have everything up and running smoothly within a couple weeks. News from Eli Lilly and Company could signal a major new tool in slowing coronavirus. The Indianapolis-based pharmaceutical giant says the new study shows its antibody treatment can also prevent the spread. The research looked at people who live and work in nursing homes and found 57% lower risk with the drug overall and an 80% lower risk among the highest risk group, the residents. The drug is already approved as a treatment. No word yet when it could get clearance for broader use. Now to some business headlines. Older Americans are increasingly buying groceries and just about everything else on the internet. And those over 65 are now the fastest growing category of e-commerce shoppers. The coronavirus pandemic has reshaped habits and behaviors of even the most resolute shoppers. Consumers 65 and older on average spent a total of $1,615 online from January through October. That's a 49% increase from the year prior, making them the fastest growing cohort of online shoppers. That's according to NPD Group. Disney laid off thousands, but top execs made $35 million amid the pandemic in 2020. CEO Bob Chapek was reportedly paid $14 million, while executive chairman Bob Iger earned $21 million. However, the two executives will not receive bonuses this year. Disney cut 32,000 jobs last year at its theme parks, cruises, and movie studios were closed for part of last year. And Apple is working on a virtual reality, augmented reality headset that's expected to be released as soon as 2022. The headset will be an expensive device that paves the way for more mainstream AI glasses from the iPhone company in upcoming years. One report said that the VR headset will set the stage for a thinner, sleeker pair of smart glasses that could replace the iPhone in about a decade. Coronavirus has Butler basketball in a timeout again. The Big East says tonight's game against Seton Hall is postponed because of COVID issues within the Butler program. No word yet on a makeup date. The virus has caused Butler to postpone several games this season. And the Colts have a new coach after losing another member of its offense. Marcus Brady is the new offensive coordinator. He's been the team's quarterback coach the last 3 seasons. He's replacing Nick Sirianni after the Philadelphia Eagles signed him to be their next head coach. The Eagles fired their head coach after a 4-11-1 record and missing the playoffs. Sirianni coached the Colts offense the last 3 seasons. The Super Bowl will be set by Sunday night. The sports world's attention centers on the conference championships, Tampa Bay versus Green Bay and Kansas City Buffalo. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers are traveling to face the Packers with Aaron Rodgers. The winner gets a trip to the Super Bowl, which is in Tampa this year. If Tom Brady makes it back to the big game, he'll be part of an exclusive group that includes a Colts legend. Brady would join Kurt Warner, Craig Morton, and Peyton Manning as the only QBs to lead 2 different teams to a Super Bowl appearance. And Chiefs star quarterback Patrick Mahomes' status is still unclear for the late game on Sunday. He suffered a concussion in their last game against the Cleveland Browns. Right now, the Chiefs are the betting favorite to win the Super Bowl. BettingSuperBowl.com is showing 2-1 odds. The Chiefs still have to beat the Buffalo Bills to play Super Bowl 55. And the Indiana Hoosiers are celebrating an upset this morning. Unranked IU beat the number 4 Iowa Hawkeyes last night, 81-69. This gives IU a signature victory on the road and increases their chances of a bid into March Madness. If fans are allowed to the games, a berth into the tournament could mean a slight home field advantage. The Marion County Health Director is hoping to decide whether to allow fans inside by February 1st. Olympic organizers are reassuring people that the Summer Games in Tokyo are still on. It comes after the London Times reported the Games will be canceled. The paper says it got the information from unidentified government sources. This morning, Japan's Deputy Chief Cabinet Secretary says there is no fact to the report. The local organizing committee said it is fully focused on hosting the games this summer. The Tokyo Games were supposed to happen last summer, but were postponed due to the pandemic. The Summer Olympics are set to start July 23rd. The Mega Millions jackpot up for grabs tonight is closing in on $1 billion. The $970 million prize is the second largest prize in the game's history. This will be the 37th drawing without a winner. That's the longest the Mega Millions has gone without a jackpot win. And an anonymous couple in a tiny western Maryland town won the $731 million Powerball jackpot in Wednesday night's drawing. There are now only one of 3 winners from the state in Powerball history. We took a look at the numbers. According to Powerball's website, Indiana has had the most jackpot winners of any state since it was launched in 1992. It has had 39 winners. Missouri is a close second with 31 winners, then Minnesota, 22. There have been a total of 387 winners. So that means Indiana has a 10.1% of the total number of jackpot winners. Finally, Girl Scout cookies on demand. Starting today, you can use a food delivery service to get a contact-free order. The new option is another change prompted by the pandemic. Most importantly, the proceeds will still benefit local troops. If you use Grubhub or simply the group's website to buy the cookies, they'll deliver straight to your door. You can still attribute each box to local Girl Scouts. Hannah Mordeau met a Girl Scout who's embracing the changes.
I love cookie selling.
Love is an understatement.
I sized up so I can fit more on it.
16-year-old Gloria Sanchez has been earning Girl Scout patches and selling cookies in Carmel for half her life.
I started the winter of first grade because I wanted to sell Girl Scout cookies.
And she's extremely successful, selling a whopping 2,000 boxes last year.
An iPad from selling Girl Scout cookies.
These days she uses that iPad a lot. Her troop now meets online, plus she's helping mentor a brownie group through Zoom. But in a pandemic, that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
Digital cookie is amazing. We are really pushing our digital platform, and it is a place where girls can set up a website where it has our cookie goal, it has what our troop might be doing with the money.
With no in-person sales this month, the Girl Scouts are getting creative.
So anyone who doesn't have a hookup for Girl Scout cookies can text this number and they can buy cookies from me.
Customers can also turn to Grubhub, order cookies and have them delivered that same day. Local Girl Scout troops will track and fulfill the orders. Plus, Grubhub has waived all the fees so the kids get the same amount of proceeds.
And that money is sent towards things like scholarships.
In February, they hope to sell some cookies in person. In the meantime, Gloria thinks sales will soar online.
I do think these changes are going to stick around. I hope they stick around.
Helping fund the most important part of their mission.
My main takeaway from Girl Scouts is the friendship.
The Girl Scouts say there is free delivery with Grubhub through February 14th with a minimum $15 purchase. Right now, the on-demand cookies are only offered in Indy, Carmel, and Lafayette, but more locations will be added soon. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway. Online at wishtv.com and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
The News 8 Daily 8 is sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling.
Be sure to like and subscribe to this podcast.
The News 8 Daily 8 with Kylie Conway. And be sure to discover even more great podcasts now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.